the universe. And as you breathe out, send out that unconditional love that resides within you. So there's a perfect balance, a perfect exchange of energy and love on the inflow and on the outflow. And know that you're surrounded by love, both within and without. And we surround ourselves in the healing energy of divine love. Only our deepest wisdom and highest guidance come through in this session. This session brings about the highest healing, transformation, and coherence for each of our highest and best. And each one of us accepts the full benefit that this session offers. We thank our highest guidance for assisting us in this process. And we give thanks for the gift of resonance repatterning and the greater well-being made possible through this session. And so it is. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is just ask your permission. May I include you in the group field as I muscle check? And when you say yes, this will engage your free will and allow me to tap into your energy field as part of the group field. And if you're part of the group of people who are watching this video after the fact, you can set your intention as well and give your permission to be included. As one of my colleagues likes to say, the hologram is anticipating you. And so I think you'll find that this session, even though you're not taking part in it in real time, is still relevant. And it might be interesting if you think about how this session is relevant to you after the fact, if you're watching the recording. Okay, so may I have your permission to muscle check for you? Excellent, beautiful. So let's see where we're going to start today. So there are lots of different ways to do a group session, and I'm just going to find out first what would be the best approach for us. So it would be best for us to do a seat of transformation. It would be best to start by doing a proxy session with some group input. It's best to start with a straight up proxy session. Okay, so this is where I'm the proxy for the group and sort of the group information sort of filters through me. So let's see where we need to start. So we need to start with something from orientation. Yes. So not surprised that we're going to start with orientation, because orientation is about aligning your inner compass, like resetting your inner compass so that you move towards what supports you and you move away from what doesn't support you. And when we're oriented, we're present, we're grounded, and we can assess our situation, our environment, and make the best choices. So the piece of orientation that we need to start the session is something from orientation to self. Yes. So there are a number of different options. So I'm just going to go down the list of options and see what we need here. So it's something from A through E. It's something from F, something from G. Okay. So we need something from appreciation. And so we need to appreciate something about ourselves. Yes, this is a quality, something that we've done well. Any positive changes that we've made since the last session? Yeah. So we're going to start with just doing some appreciation of any positive changes that we've made since our last session together, which was last month. And I'm just going to check here. So it would be best for me to ask for input from the group at this time. Yes. Okay. So we'll get some group input here. So you could either raise your hand. I don't know if you can see the raise your hand feature down at the bottom of the screen, or you can, just raise your hand this way. So what positive changes have you made since our last session? Anybody have anything you want to put into the mix here? And appreciation, they say that appreciation opens the gate to the divine. Gratitude and appreciation is a high level of vibration and coherence. So what positive changes have you experienced in the last month? So Ray, you raising your hand there? Can you unmute your own self?
Yeah, you're unmuted. You want to say?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, somebody else.
May I speak at this
Yes.
point? Okay. I appreciate that I have confidence and trust in the universe in the face of the unknown.
Mm. Beautiful. Awesome. And is that a deeper appreciation that you're feeling now than you have in the past?
Definitely.
Deeper
Yes,
confidence and
definitely.
trust? Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? If you have confidence and trust in the universe in the face of the unknown, life gets a lot better, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Martha, did you have something you wanted to share with us?
I mean, mine's not really related to just the monthly though, so that's why I hesitated, because it's probably related because we've been doing a little bit more work. But we did some work around boundaries, and then I was able to test it. So that's all I was going to say.
Okay. So what do you appreciate that you were able to set a stronger boundary, or that it was easier for you?
Appreciate the connection between the energy work and reality. Like I love when you get to see the universe at work.
Right. So you get some confirmation.
Right.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Great. Thank you. An interesting juxtaposition between Ray's appreciation, having that confidence and trust, and Martha, actually seeing the connection. And it does help when we're able to see the connection. I think that deepens our confidence and trust. So the two, can work hand in hand. And if we don't see the connection, then we draw on our confidence and trust to carry us through until we do see the connection again. So that's great that those two kind of sort of go together like that. Okay, so Ann Smith, I'm going to, can I unmute you? No, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself.
Kind of in the same vein, in getting a deeper appreciation of interconnection and everything, I'm feeling more supported. I'm finding that I'm way more resilient than I thought I was, and that I have connection to more creativity than I thought I did.
Beautiful. Thank you. And it's interesting, this theme is kind of emerging here. You know, the confidence and trust, seeing the connections, feeling the connection, and then feeling supported and resilient and creative. You know, it's that support, resilience, and creativity that we can draw on in the face of the unknown to create opportunities to, you know, to see our way through dark places back into the light, back onto the path. So thank you. Wonderful. Okay, let's see here. Anybody else have anything to add with appreciation?
For me, I'm appreciative since the last session because my dad and I have a really horrific history and relationship, and there was a lot of anger in our relationship. And I've started my own forgiveness process with him, and I've managed to implement and maintain boundaries between us, and I've managed to stop taking blame that he tries to put on me that's not mine to take this last month. And then along with that, I've recently started standing firm and creating my own belief system instead of just letting myself, I guess it's boundaries also, believe everything that my mentors tell me. Like what they say is valid to an extent, but it's like I can have my own beliefs.
Right. So sort of using your own discernment. Beautiful. Yeah, that's another piece of the boundaries. Awesome. Great. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to check here. There's any other appreciation that we need at this time? No. Okay. So we need to check our resonance with all of these. No, with just one of them. It's not the first one. So it's having the confidence and trust in the universe in the face of the unknown. And you can kind of see how everything else sort of falls under that umbrella. So great. So let's check our resonance with this. This is a general check. So now we're going to cross-reference this pattern on our system to determine whether we are resonating with this or not. And this is a general check. Okay. And everything else is sort of proxied into this. So repeat after me. Say, I appreciate that I have confidence and trust in the universe in the face of the unknown. Okay. Yeah, we're not resonating with that right now. And that's okay because we're only looking at what needs to shift. So that's okay. So we'll be turning that on. Carol's wondering, she has to leave. She wants to know if it's okay to stay until then. So yeah, we'll continue to proxy you in. So you can, Carol, you can continue to take part in the session, even though you have to log off. That's fine. Okay, so let's see what we need to do next. There's anything more that we need from orientation? No. It's best for us to go to the modalities to shift this pattern and switch it on right now. We don't need to do that. Okay. So there's something more that we need to do from the mandala, and we need to look at something from problems into opportunities, an intention for a new possibility. There is a repatterning that we need. Yes. And the repatterning that we need at this time as a group is something from part A, part B, part C. So we're going to work with the chakras, and the repatterning that we need is number 1. It's number 2. Okay, so we're going to do the disrupted energy repatterning. And this is looking at where the energy in the chakras gets disrupted so that we might get stuck in one aspect of the creation cycle, or we might be avoiding an aspect. So I'm just going to get that repatterning here. I'm just going to see if there's anything from the introduction that would be beneficial for us to hear. And it's something from here, 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 it's here, here. Okay. So I'm going to, it's the outward, yeah. So the chakras, they step down the universal energy the energy coming in through the crown, the brow, step it down into the throat, to the heart, the solar plexus, step it down into the pelvic area, step it down into the root area, so that we can use the universal energy. So there's this vertical flow of energy, but there's also a horizontal flow of energy. If you think of it like that, it's probably not exactly, vertical and horizontal, but you can think of it like that, that there's also the chakras have an inflow and an outflow, kind of like breathing in. So they take in the energy and they release the energy. And when the outward moving or the inward moving pulsation gets disrupted, then we might experience issues. For example, if we are blocked in the throat area, we might have timing issues. We might have trouble aligning ourselves with divine right timing. We might feel impatient. We might have trouble speaking our truth. Or on the other end of the spectrum, we might excessively talk without being able to let other people have their point of view. Or if we are blocked in the solar plexus, whenever there's an outward disruption, it kind of feels like a pressure cooker is building up inside of us, like something wants to explode, right? Wants to move out. And so in the solar plexus, that might be angry outbursts, or it could be that we don't move into action. And so how the chakras and that energy gets disrupted, it could be that traumatic experiences might impact the expansion relaxation cycle of any or all of the chakras, depending on the kind of trauma that was involved and the person's reaction. Unmet underlying needs from infancy or childhood, or maybe, into any time really, adolescence and adulthood, but mainly infancy and childhood, that were not met in the way that we needed them to be met, with love and communication. So that can cause blocks in the chakras. Unhealthy habits that we have, whether it's habitually eating unhealthy food or using alcohol or drugs, or tobacco, or quarrels, upsets at meal times might disrupt the energy in the chakras, particularly in the solar plexus or the root chakra. Accidents like experiencing whiplash in the neck, that can block up the throat. It could also block up the pelvic, because the throat and the pelvic are connected. So that's how these blockages might come into manifestation. And so this repatterning is about identifying where the disruption is, how it might be showing up or manifesting for us, and then what's needed to release the disruption so that our energy flows. So I'm just going to check here. There's a specific person that it would be best to focus in on for this repatterning. Getting a no on that. Okay. So it's best for us to identify a problem. Yes. Okay. And it's best for me to ask the group for input. Yes. Okay. So does anybody have a problem that's weighing on you that you would like to put into the mix here to start us off with this repatterning? And again, you can raise your hand. So I see Letitia, yes.
It's like a physical problem. I've had ongoing stuff with whiplash and then my lower back of the pelvis. And it's like I've been trying all kinds of holistic healing and I've seen progress in other parts of my body, but those two parts just are stubborn, and it's been going on for like a couple of years now with the pelvis.
Okay. So that's what we need to look at. Yeah. So that's it. Okay. So this is a general check. Okay. It's the best way to word it. So say ongoing whiplash and lower back of the pelvis. Are stubborn and causing me problems. And that is resonating. And it's interesting, Letitia, that you mentioned the pelvis, because I was talking to a friend last week, and he was telling me everybody's got a blocked pelvis this week. I don't know what's going on. He's an energy healer too. So he was telling me, to pay attention to my pelvis and make sure it's not blocked, because like everybody's got a blocked pelvis. So even though this might be Letitia's particular experience that we're working with to set the context of this repatterning, we are also resonating with somehow having stubborn problems in the lower back and in the neck area.
Well, and before the whiplash, I had really bad TMJ. So I feel like the whiplash was a manifestation of me not listening to this. So I mean, it doesn't even have to be the neck or pelvis, really.
Ah, right. Yeah, so throat and water chakra. Okay, so let's see what we need to look at here in terms of a primary chakra where there's an outward moving energy disruption. Yes, okay. And so I'm just going to check here. It's something from number 1. It's number 2. It's number 3. So it is the solar plexus. So interesting, because, we're talking about what looks like might be throat and pelvic, and yet there's a block in the solar plexus. And, it's not uncommon that there's a block in one chakra, but then it manifests as problems that look like they relate to another chakra. So what's needed here is something from the list from 1 through 5. It's 6, it's 7. And it's number 1, number 2. So what came up is I have to have power over others. So let me, I'll put this in the chat here. So this is a general check. So repeat after me. Say, I have to have power over others. Yeah, and we're resonating with that. Okay. So control. And then there's another chakra we need to look at in terms of this outward disruption. No. Okay. We need to look at the vertebrae involved. Yes, we do. So the vertebrae, each of the vertebrae correlates to each of the chakras, and there are also emotional correlations with the vertebrae as well. So this section is looking at the emotional correlations of the vertebrae as they relate to the chakras. And the vertebrae we need to focus on here. Let's see, is coccyx, sacrum, lumbar, thoracic, cervical. Yeah, so the neck area, so throat chakra. And there are 7 cervical vertebrae. So it's C1, C2, C3, C4. Okay. So the 4th cervical vertebrae we're looking at here, and it's associated with hay fever, catarrh, which is like that sort of like feeling like you have to clear your throat. Issues with the adenoids, the brain, the eyes, and the tongue. And what's needed here that we need to switch off is number 1, number 2, number 3. I suppress my tears. And if you think about, when you feel like you're going to cry, you get a lump in your throat, right? So that relates to throat chakra there. So general check. So say, I suppress my tears. And it looks like we're not resonating with that. So I'm going to check that umbilically. So I'm going to check this at a core level. So checking again without repeating it. Yeah, we're umbilically on for that, which means we probably moved into resonance with that at a very young age. It could also be a generational pattern or a past life. But if you think about, how many times a little kid have you been told, don't cry, oh, it's okay. I think about like parents try to cajole the toddler into not crying when the toddler falls down, tries to sort of divert their attention. But also how many of us grew up in families where it was really hard to express emotions, particularly tears, sadness, grief, those kinds of emotions. Okay, so there's another vertebrae we need to focus on. No. We need to look at the inward moving energy disruption now. Yes. And it's in the earth, it's in the pelvic, solar plexus, it's in the heart. Okay. So in the heart chakra, so this is the inward moving disruption. So moving something into the heart. And it's something here from number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And it's number 1, it's number 2. So this is depending on someone or something as a way to feel connected. Hmm. So let's see what we need to do with this. So this is one of those fill in the blank patterns. So I depend on, and you fill in the blank with the person's name as my only way to feel connected. So I'm just going to check. So this is a specific person. It's others. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And there may be a specific person in your life that you feel like you depend on as your only way to feel connected. But for the group, it's more general. I depend on others. And this is a general check. So say, I depend on others as my only way to feel connected. And that's resonating. And so it's interesting that, this comes up while we're in this time of pandemic and a lot of isolation, right? So we're being challenged to find our sense of connection within. And also, I see this as relating to the boundary issues as well, because if you're depending on somebody as your only way to feel connected and they let you down, or you you have a challenging relationship with them, you get into an argument or whatever, if you're depending on their behavior in order to make you feel better, in order to help you feel connected, if that's the dynamic in the relationship, then that's a boundary issue, so that you can still maintain your own connection to yourself, to love, to the universe, to other people, to humanity, regardless what anybody else is doing, regardless of how anybody else is treating you. So I see that, as the boundary aspect of that, being able to, if you're depending on somebody as the only way to feel connected, it's going to be really hard to set a boundary with them when you need to, because you're going to risk feeling that loss of connection potentially. So there's another vertebrae that we need to look at. No. Okay, so we need to look at the chakra triad circuit disruption. Yes, say that 3 times fast. So this next section is taken from polarity therapy. So each of the chakras has a positive pole, a neutral pole, and a negative pole. And so even like a lot of times we focus on the chakra itself, but yet, for example, like a broken ankle could actually be a manifestation of an imbalance in the heart chakra, because the ankle is the negative pole of the heart. Or headache may not be a brow chakra issue. It might be a solar plexus issue, because the solar plexus is connected to the brow chakra. The brow chakra is the positive pole. The head and the eyes is the positive pole of the solar plexus. So that's why sometimes when you are working with the chakras and you're focusing on that specific area, if it doesn't seem like it's moving through, it may be that, well, maybe it's not exactly that specific chakra. Maybe it's the positive pole or the neutral pole or the negative pole of another chakra that's located in the area in your body where you're noticing the block. So let's see, the chakra we need to focus on is in the earth chakra. It's the water, it's the solar plexus, it's the heart. Okay. So the heart chakra. So the heart chakra actually has the shoulders and the lungs are the positive pole. The kidneys and the colon are the neutral pole, and the ankles and the calves are the negative pole. So let's see which pole we need to look at here. So disrupted energy in my heart chakra. And the pole we need to focus on is from this section. It's number 1. It's number 2. It's in the kidneys. So at the neutral pole, of my kidneys. And we need to specify which side. It's on the right, it's on the left. On my left side. Okay. So this is a general check. So repeat after me. Say disrupted energy in my heart chakra at the neutral pole of my kidneys on the left side. Yeah, and that's resonating. So we're on for that. So I'm just gonna, I'll pop this into the chat so you guys can have it. Let's see. Okay, kind of itchy nose here. I'm wondering, like, what is the nose? The nose is throat chakra. Okay, so now we need to look at something from this section. We do. Okay, so this is a shock related to the chakras that's somehow impacting this issue. And this could be a shock that you've personally experienced, or it could be a shock that is a generational pattern. Somebody in your family experienced that, maybe it's an ancestor that you don't even know about, that somehow the resonance has been passed down through the generations. Or it could be something from a past life. So what's needed here is something from number 1, number 2. So we're looking at the pelvic chakra. So shock to the pelvic chakra. And the shock is something from the list here. It's 1 through 5. It's 6 through 10. It's number 6. It's number 7. It's number 8. Shock to the pelvic chakra from bathtub trauma. Doesn't really mean anything to me. So maybe it's, it could be something I don't remember. It could be, like I said, generational, past life. It's interesting. I gave a session to somebody, and what came up was shock to the solar plexus from watching a house being burned down, which meant nothing to the person I was giving the session to. But then he called me later that day and said that he had talked to his mother and said, is there anything in our family history about a house burning down? And the mother said, yeah, your father's house burned down when he was a teenager. So there you go. So let's check this. So general check. So say shock to the pelvic chakra from bathtub trauma. Okay, I'm going to check that umbilically without repeating it. Yeah, we're umbilically on for that. And so this is kind of where the repatterning process can get maybe a little more esoteric when these patterns come up that maybe if they don't, they're not something that you like consciously connect to. And yet somehow for us as a group, it would be beneficial if we turned this off. And I'm thinking about our orientation, appreciating that we have confidence and trust in the universe in the face of the unknown. So, you know, if this is an unknown shock or trauma for you, we can at least trust that it's something that is needed for the benefit of the group to shift, and that there'll be some benefit for everybody once we shift this. Okay, so let's see here. There's something that we need to look at from this section. Something from this section. Yeah, so this is what's needed to balance the outward moving energy. Okay, so this is, I'm going to just check. This is the same chakra that we worked with initially. Yeah, so it is the solar plexus. Okay. And it's something here from 1 through 5, number 1, number 2. Okay. So solar plexus, outward. So this is, my actions are aligned with the truth of my thoughts and words. So living in integrity, general check. So say my actions are aligned with the truth of my thoughts and words. Yeah, and we're not resonating with that right now. So you might think about, you know, is there an area of your life where maybe you need to move into more alignment with? Or you might have something shown to you after the session that that you see where you were out of alignment and where you need to move into more alignment. Then we also, I'm just going to check, we need another chakra for this section. No, we need to work with the heart chakra coherence on the inward flow. Yes. Okay. So this is the heart chakra. And what's needed here is number 1, it's number 2, it's number 3. Ah, this is beautiful. I receive the love people give me. That's beautiful because, you know, if you're not resonating with receiving the love people give you, even if you're surrounded by people who love you, even if you're, you know, they're showing you all this love, it's really hard to recognize it and take it in. So this will be, I think, really powerful to be able to receive the love that people give us. And certainly, you know, that will help us to feel more connected. And so this is a general check. Okay, so repeat after me. Say, I receive the love people give me. Yeah, and that's not resonating. You know, you could think about, like, you know, how many times have you had the experience where you say something and the other person takes it the wrong way? It's like, you know, somehow they take it as a slight or an insult or something, where it's like, you didn't mean it like that at all. And, you know, and how many times have you been on the other end of that, where you've taken something the wrong way, right? So being able to receive the love that people give us, I think is going to help to, I think it's going to help with a lot of areas of our lives, but certainly with relationships and communication in relationships. You might notice that communication is clearer once you're resonating with receiving the love that people give. So there's another chakra we need to focus on. No. So we need to go to the modalities. Yeah. So this is where we're going to make an input of energy into the group field to shift these patterns so that we're turning off the energy around the negative patterns, turning on the energy around the positive. And so the modality that we need is something from this index. It's something from A, B, C. So we're going to do something with number 1. It's number 2. So we're going to do something with color and light. And the color we need to focus on is 1 through 5, 6 through 10. It's number 6, number 7, number 8. So we are going to work with the color blue, which relates to the throat chakra. And blue increases the elimination of toxins. It relieves itching and pain from burns. It brings vitality. It has a positive effect on the lungs. And we were working with the heart chakra. The positive pole of the heart chakra is the lungs. It reduces fever and inflammation. And on the emotional side, it brings peace, serenity, tenderness, contentment, soothing, confidence, clarity, and communication. So you can see how that would really help us with our boundary issues, help us to maintain our confidence and sense of connection in the face of the unknown, that clarity. Be very helpful for communication, for trying to discern what your next steps are. Okay, so I have here a blue light, and I'm going to just see what we need to do with this. So let's see here. So we need to shine this light on a chakra. We need to shine this light on a meridian point, Jinshin, a cranial bone. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to shine this on one of the cranial bones. And the cranial bone that we need to shine it on is frontals, the sphenoid. So the sphenoid is like right here, like on the temples. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do here. There's any sound needed with this? There's anything else that we need with this? No. Okay. So I don't know if you can see this. So this is going to be on the sphenoid, which is right in here. That's where it's going to be. So you guys just relax and breathe. And I'm going to shine this blue light on that chart. And it's going to be just as if I'm shining it right there on your body. So just relax and breathe. So when we're working with energy, we are working beyond time and space. Energy is everywhere. So we don't have to necessarily be in the same physical location. And with your permission and my intention, I can do this modality for you using a chart. And just going to check this is complete. Yes. Okay, that's complete. Yep, there we go. There's the shift. We'll just take a little moment, let that settle in. And there's another modality that's needed at this time. No. Okay. So that's all that's needed. Just a very very short yet powerful input of energy with that modality. Beautiful. And I like to think that when the modality is so direct and so simple, it's a nice reminder that things don't have to be real complicated. You know, positive change doesn't have to be excruciating. Or take a long time. Although sometimes, you know, it takes as long as it takes. But it doesn't always have to, you know, be a big complicated to do. Okay. So it's best to go back now and recheck the statements. Yes. Okay. So, are you ready? So let's check this. Say, I appreciate that I have confidence and trust in the universe in the face of the unknown. And we're resonating with that. And just notice what that feels like in your body as you say that out loud. And so that statement was also as a proxy for the other appreciations. I appreciate the connection between the energy work and reality. I appreciate I have a deeper inner connection. I appreciate I'm feeling supported and more resilient, and I have more creativity. I appreciate I'm implementing boundaries, and I've stopped taking on blame. I appreciate I'm creating my own belief system using my own discernment and inner knowing. Beautiful. Okay, and so this was the problem that we started with. So say ongoing whiplash and lower back of pelvis are stubborn and causing me problems. Yeah, and that's not resonating. That has shifted. Just notice what that feels like in your body. You might notice maybe some tension released, or it might feel maybe a little bit more spacious or relaxed. You may even notice like a little quivering or buzzing. Maybe your muscles are kind of quivering a little bit, or it feels like maybe a little buzz of energy. And this was the solar plexus. Say, I have to have power over others. Yeah, and that is off. We are not resonating with that anymore. And then this was the fourth cervical vertebrae in the neck. Say, I suppress my tears. Yeah, and that is off. We are not resonating with that anymore. And say, I depend on others as my only way to feel connected. And that is off. So that was the heart chakra. So now you can feel connected, but you don't have to depend on them, and their behavior doesn't have to influence your level of feeling connected. It's a disrupted energy in my heart chakra. At the neutral pole of my kidneys. On my left side. Yeah, and that's off. Good. So that disruption is cleared. And say, shock to the pelvic chakra. From bathtub trauma. Yeah, and that's off. Oh, that was an umbilical. Let me check that umbilically. Yeah, and that is off. So that has cleared. Excellent. And say, my actions are aligned with the truth of my thoughts and words. Good, and that is resonating. Awesome. So that is on. And then the last one. Say, I receive the love people give me. Good, and we are resonating with that. Nice. Okay, so just take a couple of breaths and let that settle in. And again, just notice what that feels like in your body. Maybe you've noticed a little opening, or maybe your breathing has gotten easier. Maybe you feel more relaxed. So there's anything more that's needed from this session? No, the session is complete. Yes, excellent, good. So session is complete. Thank you, everybody. So I'm happy to answer any questions, or if you have anything you'd like to share with the group, that would be great too. You can raise your hand or raise your hand this way. And I do these calls every month, usually the first Monday of the month, and I post them on YouTube. If you want to get notified to be on the calls live, you can go to my website at liztobin.com under the events, under Gateway to Grace, and get on the mailing list, and I'll send you the login information for the Zoom. I also am available to do private sessions, one-on-one sessions, and we can do those over Zoom or on the phone. You can go to my website, liztobin.com, to learn more about that, or contact me at et@liztobin.com. So I see Annette, you have something you would like to say? We would love to hear it.
Yeah, you spoke, we went into the kidney area.
Yes.
my issue is, of course, if anybody remembers, this is a real father issue all the time, which, of course, that's the left side, or no, the other way. Yeah, no, it's the left side. Well, anyway, my dad just had a the left kidney removed a week ago. My daughter is having kidney stones removed on the left side today. So, I mean, this is just all hitting huge family, a good family clean out.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I got goosebumps when you mentioned about your father and your daughter and their kidney issues. Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks for letting us know that, because that's, when we do this work, any work that we do, it ripples up the family line and down the family line and out to humanity. So that's beautiful. So we can, we can hold your family lineage, in our hearts.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions or anything you'd like to share? Just going to see if I can see everybody on the same page here. All right. Okay, so it looks like everybody's all set. I'm happy to, let's see. Anne says, excellent. Thank you so very much, Liz. Letitia says, thank you. Beautiful. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you next month, the first Monday of the month. So blessings to you, and this will be up on YouTube within a few days. So if you want to come in for a tune-up, it's there for you anytime you need it. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. And I guess I should say, for the YouTube people, you can subscribe to my channel and like the video and share it. Bye, everybody.